Yes. Hello, everyone. This is Angela Cody Rouget, also known as Major Mom. And we have another founder of Major Mom Organizers.
My name is Mandy Pinkston, and I've been working with Angela since 2009.
Yes, and it has been an amazing journey that Mandy and I have been on. Mandy, do you remember how we met? How did we even know each other?
Yes. So I didn't know you at all, and I was interested in the field of organizing, like a lot of the liberators that are listening to this, watching this recording. And I was in a career search, and I was looking for what I was going to do, and professional organizing is where my heart was. And I looked online. I had read so many books about professional organizing. I knew about the industry, and I looked online and I found NAPO. And in NAPO, the NAPO Colorado chapter, I looked through all the different websites. I looked at all the different organizers, and something about you, Angela, stuck out to me. And then the other thing was I found faithful organizers, and Angela's name appeared there as well. So I thought, oh, that's a sign that in those two lists, Angela was the only name that really stuck out to me. And I called you, and I asked to meet up with you and see if there's a way that we could talk about the profession and about what you do, and potentially I was thinking about sorry, there's a big fly, thinking about coming up with some sort of business partnership.
That's right. And so when Mandy reached out to me, I had already been probably interviewed six different professional organizers to become business partners with or to form strategic alliances with and mesh our businesses together so that we could grow something that had been bubbling up in my heart, which was to grow a national brand. I have no idea where this came from. I was an employee my entire life. I was an employee all through high school, all through college, and obviously the military. So I really was designed and built to be an employee as far as I knew. But when I decided to get out of the military and become a mom, this organizing business reared its head as my new mission. And so when Mandy reached out to me, I thought, here is this stranger I do not know. And I've been interviewing all these people that I know intimately, and none of them were the right fit. So it was really cool to see that both Mandy and I believed in divine intervention. We believed that God's ways are higher than ours. And we thought, hey, this might actually work. So lo and behold, all these years later, Mandy and I have built an amazing company together. And with that said, I'd really like Mandy to highlight just a couple of things that she's helped us do. Janet Jackson would say, what have you done for me lately? And Mandy will say, well, what I've done with you in the last 8 years would be what?
Well, I think one of the neatest things about this company and the opportunity that was there for me was that all the previous work experience and professional experience and educational experience that I had just really fit so well. So I had a graphic design degree, and I was able to use that when we were putting together the Major Mom Academy and develop the Major Mom Manual. And so use all that typography and putting the images in. And I know most of the liberators probably don't care about all the little details, but if you know much with graphic design, there's a lot in there. So anyways, doing the Major Mom Manual is quite a project that took a long time, and we had many versions and many tweaks. Along with that, even just developing the Major Mom Academy, Angela and I worked on that for months and months, and then I should say for years and years, because we had many different versions of it. We used to teach it in person, and then it became an online version. But that was quite the process to decide what goes in there and what we cut out. And one of the big changes that we made from the early years is we took a lot of what is now our ops manual. Do you remember that, Angela?
Yeah.
A lot of those things we would teach during the academy, and everyone had complete information overload. So now it's nice because you don't have to drag your big academy binder out. You just look at the ops manual to be able to find the information you need. So a lot of systems like that with the academy, the manual, the things like Smartsheet, that sort of stuff, along with the graphic design part of me, is I was able to develop a lot of the forms. So we we learned from some of the best, like Marla D with Clear and Simple. And she taught us several things, and we took a lot of those ideas and we developed them along with all this other information that we got from reading, from working with clients. And we created a big packet of forms that you get to use in the job. I have always loved math. I've always been a numbers person. And so Angela thinks that I was sent down from heaven to help her with the details. So I got to do the accounting and the payroll, which I really enjoyed. And I thought that was just a good way to really know what was going on with our clients and what each liberator had on their plate. And I had a number of years of sales experience. And so being able to coach liberators on the sales process, language to use when talking with a client, kind of the attitude or the approach that we have when talking with prospective clients or new clients or, touchy situations with clients. And that kind of developed into a position that we called the Chief of Client Care. So as a chief of client care, I got to field a lot of phone calls from liberators who had questions on what do I do with this client, or oh my goodness, they won't call me back, and or uh-oh, I made a mistake, how do we fix this? And so just all kinds of situations that came up over the many different years.
I remember a saying that came up during all that, like during all those calls, the team would say, instead of what would Jesus do bracelets, it was what would Mandy do?
Right. Yeah. Well, I don't know about that. But yeah, it was, I don't know that was my favorite part, is dealing with all the challenging things. Thankfully, our team has been fantastic, and those were few and far in between. And we didn't have a lot of situations that I really had to get very involved in because we have fantastic liberators. When Angela and I first started, it seemed like every other day where we were at events, we were at networking events, we were speaking at different places all throughout the Denver metro area. We were on TV a number of times, and radio shows a number of times. And it was just fun to be out there in the community and really spread the word about what our mission is and what we are there to do and how we can serve through this work. And then I think the last point that I had come up with was just being a student of organizing, going to NAPO conferences, being part of NAPO Colorado, doing ongoing reading with all kinds of books about professional organizing, taking that information so that I could really serve clients well, and also teach the team the tools that I was learning so that we could use one another's knowledge and experience to be able to really do great at this work that we're doing.
Yeah, you actually read every book on the CPO list with our team that were going for their CPO at the time, and you actually earned your CPO. How long did you earn and maintain a CPO designation?
So I earned my CPO designation about 2.5 years into meeting you. So I just really got on track to be able to get those hours under my belt and sit for the exam and read a lot of books. And really, I had a lot of study notes. But I was a certified professional organizer for 6 years, and it was a really great honor.
Yes, and you have a lot of client hours under your belt. not even comparing yourself with some of the other liberators, how many client hours did you log?
Well, it was over 3,000 hours. Most of those being in my first 5 years before I had my babies. Those hours, I couldn't get enough of them. They were super fun.
Definitely. And you and I led the way in sales for the first 3 to 4 years in the company, didn't we? Like we were the movers and shakers, and our heart and souls were into networking and selling and organizing and training and just all kinds of amazing things we were doing.
Yeah.
What do you think? God brought you to us, to Major Organizers, which is Major Mom at the time. We figured out how to make this thing work. We had two other business partners that didn't work out. So we've been on quite a roller coaster ride together. And any Bible story that you read is a roller coaster ride. So our faith never actually diminished during some of these really difficult times in growing a national brand when neither one of us have any experience growing a national brand. So what did the company and the team do for you? You've done tons for us, but what did we do for you?
Well, one of the big things was it just gave me a way to use all the skills that God had planted in my, my, I guess my skill set. Just being able to do the sales, the entrepreneurship, the marketing, and the organizing, and the communication with clients, accounting, all those different elements that I just enjoyed. It's really, really rare that you get to do work that you enjoy, and especially where it's really diverse and it's really, it's different every day. So
Totally.
that would probably be the biggest thing. Just knowing that it was such a great fit for me. And then secondly is just the fun that we had with working together as a team. And I loved going to meetings and hearing the client stories of just the transformations that happen, not just with the space, but with the clients and their families. And, just the friendships and the connections that we develop within the team, amongst the liberators. And through this work, I've met so many other business owners and really cool clients that have taught me a lot about anything and everything.
Oh boy, we sure do learn a lot from our clients, don't we? I think that
Yeah.
we've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly of the human race. Not only as Christians reading the Bible, because boy, do you see the good and the bad, the ugly there. And so it's no real surprise when we see it in any of our professions and careers. So with that said, do you have any favorite clients or first client stories or most difficult but rewarding clients? Do you have any just show us your heart for, God's work in this mission field?
Sure. I hope you guys are here because I have about 200 stories. Just kidding. So I just wanted to share one of my first clients. It was a client that they had purchased from, it was like a silent auction. And this was one of the first jobs that I did solo. So it was actually 7 hours. And I look up the address, and it was in Cherry Hills Village, which is a really high-end community here in Denver. And the home itself was like 5 times the size of my house. So I was a little bit intimidated. I'm like, oh my gosh, how am I going to help them? So I remember going, and the lady was super beautiful and she was super nice. And you could just tell that she just needed help. And so immediately it was just really neat to be able to put aside the kind of the initial appearance of the house and the person, and learn about her story and learn about her pain with disorganization and what her goals were, and to be able to come up with solutions. We focused mostly in their laundry room and their storage room, and the storage room is I think it's bigger than my house. So it was super fun to go through all these things and come up with a system. We created almost like a store, like here's your holiday decoration section of the store, and here's the kids, toys to grow into and things like that. So, but it was just a reminder that even if somebody, looks like they have it all together, that they can still experience this overwhelm and this frustration and embarrassment from their disorganization. One second story I wanted to share, and I'll just share two, not 200. But the second story I wanted to share is kind of the opposite. There was a woman that called in, and at that time I was fielding almost all the incoming phone calls, and just, and passing out leads. And so I called this one back because you could hear in the message that there was a lot of shame and a lot of embarrassment and a lot of uncertainty in what it would be like to hire a professional organizer. So I took the phone call and I called her back, and we probably had half a dozen phone calls back and forth before I did the estimate. And when I went there, Angela, it was like the complete opposite of that first client I was telling you about. It was an apartment off of a busy road, and it was a mom who her children had been taken away from her because life was just ugly. It was upside down. She was super depressed and just, things were just not going well. And so from the looks of her place and the looks of her, it was like it would be easy to make a judgment like this lady is, I don't know, fill in the blank. But listening to her and asking her questions, it's like my heart just broke for her. And we were able to work together. I think it was like a peacekeeper package. And we created her space to be a place where when her kids had visitation, it would be a place where they felt welcomed and they felt like they had a place, and it was clean and it was put together. And she asked me questions about God and asked me questions about faith. And in between sessions, she started going to church. And it was just one of those things, like, this is a God thing that she called Major Mom at that time. And it was just a confirmation that this is not just work that we enjoy, but it's work that God calls us to do.
That's awesome. I love that. I mean, that are the two night and day stories, but two moms in desperate need of our help in different socioeconomic status, and both willing to invest in making their home a haven for their children. So that is so awesome. Well, as we wrap up with some fun stories before we kind of make the big announcement, what are some, as we're wrapping up our first decade of Major Mom Organizers and moving on to the second decade in Denver, without you, basically at the team meetings and at their beck and call, you're going to be in the background for the next 6 months, basically just helping to make sure corporate pieces of knowledge aren't lost. But you're going on to be a full-time mom, as you have now been called to do in this season, which many moms who are watching that are in our company already had their stay-at-home mom season when they came to work with us on our mission. So with that said, do you want to share with the team this calling and the positive nature of it and how you're feeling, and some well wishes for our company and the team in the future?
Absolutely. Yeah. I just was on Facebook earlier today, and I saw a good friend from college who got called to another position. He lives in Wisconsin. He's going out to Arizona, and he says, rest assured, all my friends out here in Wisconsin, I'm not running from, but I'm being called to. And I was like, I get that. That's how I feel. Like, I'm not running away from Major Mom Organizers. I just feel I've felt this calling on my heart for quite some time now, and it's been a process to kind of get things transitioned over to where I can step out of the, day-to-day operations. But it just I feel so at peace, Angela, to be able to be home with the kids and not, not doing the day-to-day operations with major organizers. It's just such a gift to be able to do that and to have been able to do both over the last few years. It was just really good timing. And I would say to the team that this is a great place to be. It's a great company to work for. There's so many systems in place for you. There's so much help when you have a question. There are so many people that have gone before you. So it's just wonderful. You don't have to walk it alone.
Definitely. I think that there's seasons and reasons in everyone's life, and having the courage to go where you're called is not always easy. And so
No.
I think that it is something that we want to share with the Denver, Colorado Springs team, as much as the Columbus and San Antonio team and all future teams coming to Major Mom organizers, now major organizers, is that there has been a strong foundation built by Mandy and Angela and previous business owners with partners with us, and 80 liberators. It's very hard to even think about that, but we have trained and hired 80 liberators over a 10-year period of time, and each one of them brought wonderful ideas and service clients and did great things. And now as we enter the second decade of major organizers, Mandy is completely pulling back. I say 99%, and she'll have 1% in the door for the next 6 months to make sure all the corporate knowledge is handed off to us. So no one need panic. No one need make up stories that Angela and Mandy are having a terrible divorce. We knew that business partnership was like a marriage, and we knew that it would take 18 months to separate and to move forward in the way that God saw us to do. And we have both remained godly women in this process, loving and kind, and because that's, like her board says, one of the fruits of the Spirit. And Mandy, we wish you well as a stay-at-home mom. And I can't help but say that I still pray that in 5 years you'll come back as a liberator, doing his work on this planet if you see fit. So I still see another season of time where we're together. I don't know what it looks like, but I'm excited about it, and I'm happy for you. And I thank you for everything that you've done and all of the amazing experiences we've had together. We can definitely say we have really had an amazing journey, and God has led the entire thing. So thank you, Mandy. I wish you the best. And any last words you have for the team?
I just say keep the mission going. It's going to be a company that goes for another 50 years, 100 years, 200 years. I don't know, but it's up to you guys. And the future has so much potential. I'm amazed at what's happened over the last decade, and I'm excited to see what happens over the next. So there's a lot of people that need major organizer services, and keep it up.
All right, Mandy, I salute you.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.